In The Phantom Menace, we are introduced to Padmé Amidala, the Queen of Naboo. Unlike other monarchs in fantasy, Padmé is an elected monarch who quickly wins the hearts and minds of those she reigns over. Interestingly, these traits of wisdom, courage, intelligence, and diligence are reminiscent of an ancient Greek philosopher you may have heard of, Plato, particularly his concept of the Philosopher King found in the Republic from the late 4th century BC. This video will discuss this connection and argue that Padmé is a terrific example of the Philosopher King, or Queen, in science fiction. However, Padmé also reveals some of the flaws within the Philosopher King idea and how certain developments in medieval and modern history have created great distance between Plato and contemporary ideas of kingship. I am Madeleine Jones, and I help you understand the world through fiction. Subscribe for frequent videos about history, literature, and culture. Welcome to Snowy Fictions. Part 1. What is the Philosopher King? The concept of the Philosopher King describes a state led by a council of wise, philosophically attuned individuals who are led by applying their high levels of reason, knowledge, and wisdom. This, in turn, creates a king who is well adjusted to philosophy and incorporates it into leadership. At its core, Plato argues that morally desirable leadership springs from intelligence and reason. This differs to Aristotle's argument that every citizen should take part in the administration of a city. We here can observe the exclusionary nature of the Philosopher King and his council, because not everyone is a part of it. So often, the Philosopher King has been applied to many figures in antiquity, such as Marcus Aurelius. The concept of a wise, thoughtful king who mediates action with strong morality and considerable intelligence is also shown in the Middle Ages through figures such as Richard II from England. Here we notice something universal about the Philosopher King. He speaks to our very human admiration for strong, intelligent, and diligent leaders. However, Plato was also a man from Greco-Roman antiquity, and ideas of kingship and ruling differed to modernity. To Plato and others from ancient Greece, kings represented ideals, so often the very best of their people. This is explicit in Homer's The Iliad and the Odyssey, where kings excel at planning, fighting, speaking, and strategy. The king figure is also a monarch and demonstrates that not all humans are created equal and that men and women ultimately need a leader. This is a sharp contrast to contemporary doctrines we are used to of equality and liberal democracy, where a politician comes from the masses and is chosen by them, or so it goes. Another crucial difference here comes in war. Antiquity provides us with many fighting kings and leaders, from Leonidas in Sparta to Alexander the Great. Plato adopted this by emphasizing the importance of a king well immersed within the populace and military. Whilst not said explicitly by him, there is an implication that good rulership stems from understanding the people one reigns over. Part 2. Padmé and Naboo. Padmé is a terrific example of the Philosopher King as per Plato, but this isn't because she's extremely exceptional. It's because Naboo encourages this kind of leadership. In Naboo, a queen or king rules the planet as an elected leader for a specific term. Whilst anyone can be elected in this position, the people of Naboo often selected young women like Padmé Amidala, presumably for their childlike and pure wisdom which adults may lack. However, we notice the queens of Naboo, especially Padmé, embodying the ideals and desires of the people. This may also explain why the Queen serves short terms of 2 to 4 years, so they can quickly get removed if that is the people's desire. The planet of Naboo is highly advanced, beautiful, and contains numerous city-states reminiscent of medieval and Renaissance Italy, or even ancient Greece. There's farmland, waterfalls, ancient buildings, and incredible palaces. Interestingly, Naboo is home to the Gungans, such as Boss Gallo, who live underwater, with individuals such as Jar Jar Binks. This biological, intellectual, and environmental diversity speaks to the need for diplomacy. Here is where the concept of the Philosopher King absolutely shines, because it is wise and prudent for a king or leader to seek diplomacy and therefore peace with others. This has occurred twice in Naboo history, between humanity and the Gungans before the Phantom Menace, and the eventual joining of Naboo to the Galactic Republic. Padme, of course, is familiar with all of this. She was born to a humble family, yes, but was quickly spotted for her potential. Thus, she was nurtured and eventually joined the Theed Royal Academy, where she received training on political leadership. Yet, where I really think Padme excels as a philosopher queen comes down to her mannerisms and body language. Padme's composure, self-control, and polite speech mirror the wisdom sought by Plato and many in ancient Greece. She comes across as reasonable and full of grace, two characteristics associated with the intelligent and the wise. Plato, yes, existed thousands of years before Star Wars, of course, but I like to think he would have admired Star Wars and the depiction of politics within Padme. One crucial point raised by Plato is the fighting king. Well, Padme is a fighter who involves herself in physical scenarios, most evidently in the Phantom Menace, where she disguises herself. Likewise, in Attack of the Clones, Padme is quick to remove her handcuffs and fight the menacing creature coming her way. This physicality cements Padme as a warrior. She is not a Jedi Knight like Anakin or Obi-Wan is, but she doesn't have to. Another interesting point is how adored Padme is. We learn many in Naboo wanted her to serve more terms, and her death and funeral is a tragic occasion for the planet. Plato doesn't really make this point, but it's almost as if being intelligent, physical, and thoughtful helps win the hearts and minds of the people and military. Part 3. Flaws in the Philosopher King. A man or woman may be wise, brilliant, and knowledgeable, as well as kind, courageous, and capable of mercy. But that is not good enough for leadership. None of these strengths guarantee a freedom from mistakes. We, as human beings, are not perfect creatures, and we will make errors. Padme, for starters, is too trusting of Palpatine, which, upon many other factors, causes Naboo to decline into dictatorship. Overall, leaders need a variety of skills, ranging from financial savviness to adaptability to emotional awareness. Whilst intelligence is crucial in leadership, it cannot be limited to a specific niche. It is no use being excellent at quantitative analysis if you cannot win the hearts and minds of your people. Whilst many philosophers cast a wide net, from Aristotle to Aquinas, it is also true that many specialize and narrow their focus down. For example, Roger Scruton is excellent on culture, faith, conservative thought, and aesthetics. However, he was hardly an authority on mathematics, finance, and science. That is okay. It demonstrates that a sole human being is already limited for knowledge. I wonder if having a council of philosophers would devolve into a contemporary academic department where everyone bickers and competes with each other. Humans are also mortal and die. Padme's death in Revenge of the Sith is tragic, especially as it occurred during childbirth, rendering Padme not present in her children's upbringing. Also, the Philosopher King can easily apply to Palpatine. Isn't he highly intelligent, visionary, skilled and perceptive? These traits we applied in Padme can lead to ruin and disaster if found in others. An intelligent and philosophical man or woman on the side of evil will lead to bloodshed. We find this in modern history, where ideology mixed in with intelligence can lead to both greatness and madness. To quote George Orwell, who knew the errors of intellectuals all too well, some ideas are so stupid, only intellectuals would believe them. What are your thoughts on Padme and Plato's concept of the Philosopher King? I'd love to read your thoughts and encourage you to leave a comment below and start a discussion. Thank you for watching, and if you would like, subscribe to my channel for frequent videos about history, literature and culture. Also visit my blog, Snowy Fictions, where I discuss storytelling and creative writing in depth. For now, thanks again, and I will see you soon.